Friday. What's up, everybody? Friday morning. Welcome to today's edition. Daily market commentary. Hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. We're going to get rolling with our large major markets, S&P, NASDAQ, crude oil, and gold, taking a look at them from an educational perspective to identify good opportunities. You may hear a baby behind me today because I'm playing Mr. Dad this morning. And so if you hear some background noise, it's just cuteness, I promise. All right, let's go ahead and get rolling. Let's start with the S&P. So the S&P this morning up about 5 points today, and we are sitting just below our all-time high. So our all-time high there of 45.49.5, we are sitting just below that number. We've talked about some quality areas of demand below us and been unable to really retest a lot of those. We came into some of them in the last few days. But at this point, I'm going to remove some of the ones below us just so that we can see everything a bit more clearly. The level that I liked the most was the wick over wick area that we talked about on Wednesday down here, and I still think that's a really, really strong level. But for now, I'm going to leave only two of them on, this area right through here, this 44.93 and this 44.60 as my kind of the two areas to lean on right now. Now, when I go ahead and take a look at where we are, we're sitting right below the all-time high. And remember the rules. You know, you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, and you don't short the all-time high. And that's where we're coming into, is the point where a lot of traders are going to look to short. Now, I will say that typically what we see is when the S&P puts in a new high, you typically get a little pullback for a few days after the new high has been created. And once that new high has been created, I wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback. So some of these areas of demand are going to become pretty valuable. But when we inevitably break above those highs today or here in the next few minutes, you do certainly have a breakout opportunity above there if we do get the breakout. Or probably better today, look for the retest of that breakout area. And if I go down to a 15-minute chart, you've got a pretty clean little level right here on the 15-minute time period. I remember we put that in purple. Anytime we do a 15-minute level, it goes in purple because we know what our time frame is for entry. All right, let's take a look next at the NASDAQ. So looking here at the NASDAQ, we can see that same level, that is that little wick over wick there at 15,150, but we're certainly pretty far away from there. Now, we are not as close to the all-time high in the NASDAQ as we are in the S&P. We've really still got to overcome one major obstacle through here, but we certainly are closing in on it. I'm going to look for a potential breakout trade above the high, although yesterday at the end of the day, we came into this region right through here. So let's see what that really looks like going forward if we get some basing in front of that level. We do have some supply above us, but remember, any supply has to be a confirmation entry. As far as demand below us, you know, even on the 15-minute chart, we've got a similar area to what we have in the S&P, but it's not quite as clean. And so I'd prefer the breakout setup, in this case. Looking at crude oil. So crude oil on our 4-hour chart has kind of stalled a little bit. We've seen a little bit of sideways stalling occur. I thought we might actually see a little bit of a double topping pattern here. And when I see that sideways stall occur, it's really going to be difficult trading inside of that range. And so we've got kind of this range that we're hovering around right through here. And if we come back in and retest either the high or the low of that range, we could certainly see a reversal. I think what your better trade is going to be is to wait for a breakout of this range. I still think that the inevitable number is up here. That's our weekly level on a much, much, much bigger time frame. So when we go way out on, say, a weekly level, that's the level that we're taking a look at, where I think that, ultimately becomes kind of a price magnet. I did anticipate a bit of a pullback before we would get there, and we will see what happens today. But I don't have a whole lot of reversal angles set up inside of crude oil today. Gold, we had a couple of levels through here over the last few days that have kind of hit and bounced around. So I'm going to remove these levels at this point. This one traded all the way to the bottom. This one hit into it but didn't get a move away. And so I'm going to remove that one as well. Now, I will say, actually, I'm going to put that back in. I will say, whenever we see this kind of 6-candle rule, because that's basically what happened here, that does set up for a potential breakout, right? So I would say that there is the possibility of a breakout above this region here. Now we have to, be aware of this supply level, so I want basing in front of that breakout area. We could see a reversal a bit lower. Right here, this is the origin of a very strong rally in price, occurred at a pretty good time of the day. So let's keep our eye on that one in there. 1788, I think, is a pretty good area to keep an eye on and take a look at. So those would be our four major markets that I am looking at today, and I think that those four major markets don't give me a tremendous amount of opportunity on a Friday. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of profit taking towards the end of the day today. And as we've, kind of had a nearly parabolic move up in our S&P, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row. And notice this all occurred after our follow-through day, and so that's why we talked a lot about that over the last few weeks. Now, looking at our stock of the day, I don't necessarily have a stock recommendation of the day, but I do have one to keep an eye on, and that's IBM. And IBM yesterday, we did have our earnings announcement, and IBM just came tumbling down after the earnings announcement to an area of support. And let's see if we get a potential, this is a strong move, on that gap down. Let's see if we get a little bit of a potential gap fill. And if we do get a gap fill, then certainly you want to keep the origin of the gap in mind because those origins of gaps become pretty prevalent and pretty important. Now, the other one to take a look at from a technology standpoint is Microsoft. When I'm looking at Microsoft, I see that we did get above the all-time high, which was what we were talking about last week. And now we've got a bullish engulfing candlestick at the all-time high. Right now, the downside of this is that we've got earnings coming out very, very soon. Earnings are coming out on the 26th. And so you don't have a whole lot of play in here. Typically, Microsoft is not a big gapper. And so if you decided you wanted to take a long on this, once we get above yesterday's high, that would be a decent entry possibility. The better pullback, looking at this on the 1-hour chart, there's this level in here right there at 301. If you like the demand areas on the daily charts, the better pullback is probably going to be down here at 294. So those could be some levels to pay attention to and look at in Microsoft. But with that being said, I'm going to turn this thing off. Remember, we've got Herman doing the live trade room today. And then Sunday night, we also have the futures room. So if you want to join our free preview week, go to tradersarmy.com. Join me Sunday night. Be good to have you there with me. Until tomorrow, everybody, I will talk to you soon. See ya. Hey, thanks for joining us. If you like what we do, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's the only way the computers know that you're actually alive and really care. And go to tradersarmy.com today to learn a bit more. And if you want to see some of our other videos, click here in the box.